Hey everyone, I want to talk today about something that is maybe a little bit counterintuitive and absolutely countercultural, and that's how to use laziness as an important tool to help heal from trauma. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the rushing and all this nonstop busyness that are so common in our culture. And did you know that these can actually be trauma responses? Our inability to relax and just be present in the moment is because an old primitive part of our brain has decided that it's not safe to relax. Our rational part of our brain might realize that that's not actually true, but this old part of our brain is not very good at logic or reasoning or seeing the big picture. And never mind, it has the intelligence of a reptile. And normally our highly evolved, highly intelligent human brain would be or should be running our lives. But when we've had trauma, the ancient part of our brain can actually hijack the show and start trying to run our lives. So if you're someone who identifies as having a very hard time slowing down or relaxing, there's a very good chance that unconsciously your lizard brain is calling the shots and believes that the only reason you're still alive is because you never let your guard down and relax. Anyhow, back to being lazy. All mammals in their natural relaxed state, where they feel safe and they don't have any trauma or weird neuroses, have evolved not only to conserve energy, but to relax and restore every day. And they all fall within some natural range of laziness. And if you've ever watched your dog or cat, you're gonna know what I mean. They spend like 98% of their lives unapologetically just laying around. But somewhere along the line, us humans decided that being lazy was one of the absolute worst things you could be. So even if you don't have any trauma or anything to deal with, you probably have some negative beliefs or associations with being lazy. However, spending just a little bit of time every day being intentionally lazy, channeling your inner dog or your inner cat, can be one of the easiest ways to start healing your overstressed nervous system. And the practice is very simple. It first begins with 1,000% commitment to give yourself permission to be lazy. So often if we catch ourselves being lazy, we judge ourselves or we beat ourselves up for it, which of course means we can't fully let go and reap the benefits of being lazy. So plan ahead when you're going to do this practice and promise yourself you're going to give yourself full and complete permission during this time to be as lazy as you want. So here's a small thing to be mindful of though. Be honest with yourself about what you choose to do during your lazy practice. Is it really something that helps you fully let go and be relaxed and present? Or are you doing something that's more of a distraction from the present moments? Social media. Now, there's nothing wrong with distractions and distracting ourselves sometimes, but for this practice, do your best to let your phone have its lazy time too. So then you want to start looking for opportunities in your day when you don't have to rush. For example, maybe you can see how lazily you can make supper. The net result is maybe you eat a few minutes later, but you're using this time to teach your nervous system how to relax. And you're going to make supper anyhow, so what if it could be calming and maybe even enjoyable at the same time? So using this example, you can think about all the things that you could do to make this experience as relaxing and soothing as humanly possible. Maybe the kids go downstairs to watch a show so you can have a little peace and quiet, or you put on some nice, mellow, soothing music in the background. Either way, just see and play around with how slowly and lazily you can chop those vegetables. And maybe instead of multitasking, you get everything all prepared first. So you aren't roasting something and frying something and chopping something and hoping that something's not burning. Just Keep it as chill and as slow as possible. Keep the stress level down. And if you're like how I used to be, this intentional slowing down can be kind of triggering at first. And you gotta remember, your lizard brain really feels like it's not safe to relax. And it might come on and tell you things like, oh, this is a really stupid practice and you're wasting your time. Or it might bring on this sense of agitation. And it's really super powerful to learn how your lizard brain likes to show up. So be curious here, pay attention. And it's also good to remind yourself that uncomfortable feelings never last forever. So just keep that in mind. That being said though, if the uncomfortable feeling feels too strong, too overpowering, or it lasts too long, the most skillful thing you can do is take a break from it. A pleasant distraction, or changing your focus, or changing the scenery for a little while, just keeps it from overloading your system. And then you can come back to playing around with this practice, with being slow and lazy once you feel a little less activated. And depending on how tightly wound your nervous system is, it may take several days experimenting with this practice to start feeling the benefits. But I want you to really pay attention once you start noticing some subtle shifts in the body. Like, do you notice the body starting to soften and relax? Do you notice a change in the nervous system when it's not constantly rushed and trying to get on to the next thing so quickly? Just be really curious and be really aware. And the more you pay attention to these positive shifts, the easier and faster it's going to be to notice when you've slipped back into stress mode. And then that can trigger the feedback loop of recognizing that you need to spend a little bit more time slowing down to help you settle back and reset the nervous system again. And now a little side note. If you have had a lot of trauma in your life, be sure to reach out to either me or another mental health practitioner who is familiar with doing this kind of nervous system work. And they can help you and help your brain learn what it feels like to be safe. So you can start finding your way there a little bit more often. When you start spending more of your life feeling relaxed and unhurried, you will have so much more capacity and resilience to handle whatever it is that life is throwing at you. And who would have thought you would get so much more from doing less? Anyhow, let me know what you think of this practice. Are you super excited to try out laziness as a path to healing? Or is there a little resistance to the idea? Either way, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.